Bond. James Bond. Bitch! Oh, I'm sorry, like... reading this book was quite a roller coaster of unexpected funny moments, which I just had to take a break at every time I encountered them, because, let me just be honest here, this is not the Bond I expected, because this is the Bond from the books, and book Bond is mildly said a tad old in its approach, which is fine because the book is from 1953, but it's sort of like, you expect like this, you expect movie Bond to a degree, where it's like, I got a glass of vodka martini and just slurping it every now and then, of course. Most of the time I'll just do my job. I'm basically invincible. I got a gun, which is not really too big of an important thing to me. I could use anybody's gun, but I got like a symbol for myself. I'm gentlemanlike. And, yeah, well, you can basically look up to me as someone who got style, who... It's just, what you don't expect are tirades such as... And then there was this pest of a girl. He sighed. Women were for recreation. On a job they got in the way and fucked things up with sex and hurt feelings, and all the emotional baggage they carried around. One had to look out for them and take care of them. Bitch! Said Bond, and then remembering the monsters, he said, Bitch! Again, more loudly, and walked out of the room. I know that, once again, it's book Bond, and book Bond has a lot more in common with Daniel Craig Bond than any other Bond. Still though, just the bluntness of it all. Also, like, what I liked about the idea that book Bond is a lot more authentic is that he gets hurt, like he legitimately gets hurt when he gets hurt, and he has to heal after that. Like, the whole torture scene, which in the original Casino Royale, which is basically the book that they based the movie upon, even though this is the very first Bond book to be ever released. And the main difference between the movie and the book Bond torturing scene in this case is that it's not like a rope or anything. It's more like a rock beater, and that's not really the important thing here. It's called a rock beater, for hell's sake. It was like something else, another word for that. It's not a rug in this case. It's British way of saying it. Carpet beater. It's a carpet beater. Anyway, yeah, a carpet beater instead of this thing. I'm not even sure what that was in the movie. The point is, after that, he basically passes out multiple times during this torture scene, and he has to recover for days on end after that. Logically so, because it's heavy trauma to his balls, and there's like at least one passage where he's like, oh man, I'm not even sure if I'm ever gonna have children again after this shit. And it really feels a lot more logical in its consequences, because obviously a torture scene, like any sort of torture, is gonna fuck you up big time, and it fucked him up big time, which is pleasant to know that Book Bond is not this bigger than life figure. He's a man on a basic mission, and that's also what this book excels at. It's not very outlandish, and that the fact that in the movie Casino Royale, not the 40s version, not the 60s parody thing version, 50s version, sorry, I wasn't know. They're like two previous sort of adaptations. One from America from the 50s, and one from the 60s, which was like stars filled thing, more of an acid trip than anything else. Anyhow, in the Daniel Craig Bond 2006 adaptation, they kept it very grounded, at least when one would compare this kind of movie to the previous ones, specifically to Die Another Day, which had an invisible car, space lasers, and what was it, something else? There was something else that was really fucking stupid, but I don't remember. something else, invisible. Oh, and Bond windsurfing on a ginormous wave in the Antarctic, which is like so over the top. That is brilliant again. However, this book, as well as the adaptation of it, kept it real and were basically like, this is legitimately just an agent on a mission. Like the way a normal agent would act on a mission. He's not gonna have bad anti-shark repellent, bad anti-shark spray. He's not gonna have his huge assortment of super gadgets because they haven't been established yet. And for most of the time, it's really grounded, which is it's amazing enough that a book keeps your interest the way it does. It's very well written. Like I have certain authors who keep me reading whenever I read a book of theirs. That might be Dan Brown, Douglas Adams, and well, I guess Ian Fleming right now. Because most books I have a tendency of like at least having certain chapters where I kind of zone out. One of the worst offenders has to be American Psycho. American Psycho made me just stop reading for weeks on end at times because there were just passages of shit that doesn't need to be there. But Ian keeps it real, man. Ian knows how to keep your interest. It's a thriller in the best sense. It's an agent thriller that really works the way it's supposed to. And yeah, as I said, it's a very grounded novel in that Bond just has to take care of Le Chivre, a Russian or Russian affiliated person of the secret organization. We all know him. That's right, Smash. It's not Spectre just yet. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, when Smash is going to turn into Spectre, or if that's just a thing from the movies. Because, I know my way sort of around most Bond movies. I'm not the expert. I'm more of a casual fan. If you were to ask me questions about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I could answer you almost everything, but with Bond things, it's like, I got my knowledge, it's just compressed. It's not an all-round, perfectly acquired knowledge of everything. It's just, yeah, I know my shit, I just don't know everything. And as such, it was interesting. One of the main things that was a bit distracting for me, but that's just a personal thing, is like that I always thought of Bond while reading this book as Daniel Craig. There was never a moment where I was like, oh yeah, who cares? Now I think now I imagine a John Connery kind of Bond, or now I imagine this actor as a Bond. No, it was always Daniel Craig because scenes were immensely similar, save for a few things that were obviously different, like the fact that they're not playing Texas Hold'em poker, they're playing Baccarat, and Bond doesn't do a several times flip around accident thing because Vesper had been thrown onto the street. It's a more simple accident and all that stuff. And yeah, for most of the time it's basically just like, Bond, you gotta go to south of France and take care of this Chivre dude, make sure he loses all his funding, and therefore by losing all his funding we can cripple what's it fucking called? Smash. We can cripple Smosh. We can cripple Smash. We can cripple Smash by defeating one of their agents, basically. And interestingly enough, Le Chivre is also given a backstory which has something to do with him being in a concentration camp. I believe it was even Auschwitz, but I'm not sure. Point is, it also made me reminded me that this book was written not even 10 years after the Second World War had ended, which is such a weird change of perspective, because like the Second World War, I mean, like, I was born in 95, so that is already pretty fucking long ago. That's like 50 years, half of 100 years, mate. But just having it this close and having all these characters who refer to the war, as the Second World War, and all these characters are so immensely young still, it's something that you have to get used to a bit, because it really feels weird to have it this close, that we're legitimately talking about legitimate Nazis and such, and legitimate people who had been in a concentration camp and who are still out and about just doing stuff that people in the late 30s and mid 40s do. I just, it's weird, it's really weird. As I previously stated, Bond is very human, he's a bit sexist for reasons which I don't understand. It might be the times, probably the times, like the times back then it was a lot easier to just be a dickhead and be like, oh, fucking woman, mate. On my mission, no, I am not having it. They just want to have a picnic. Next they'll be picking flowers from a field. Then they make a daisy chains. I want my story. I want my mission to be manly. Oh, I'm James Bond, goddammit. It's just the fucking temper tantrum he throws. And mind you, after that, once he sees Vesper, he's like, huh, well, she got quite a tis to be in the game. Okay, I guess she's good, she's nice. Even though, like, she as a character is very submissive. Which, I mean, would be okay, but I expected her to be a bit more active. And she really wasn't. The most active thing she did in my memory, mind you. I've already started reading Live and Let Die, so I'm sort of... I'm not sure if I remember everything correctly 100%, but like I still got the gist of most things. The most active thing she did was commit suicide, which, by the way, is another change to the movie. They did in the movie, where in the movie she drowned in this elevator underwater, which, oh my god, that's such an epic scene, such a really dramatic tragedy to go through. But in the book, she basically just goes quietly into that night with sleeping pills, if I remember correctly, and that's almost exactly where the book ends. And also with the iconic, I mean, that's the thing, like, it's a very iconic sentence, and it uses the word bitch a lot more poignant than before, because it kind of robs the word of its impact because of how often it was used beforehand in the book. If the bitch had just been used just one time in the book, and it was like exactly at the end, like that last sentence where Bond goes, "Yes, damn it, I said was, the bitch is dead now." Where he just basically has like this mental thing where he's like immensely angry and just crumbling because he just lost someone whom he considered his possible future wife. That would have been brilliant. But instead of this, it was sort of like just another, the bitch is dead now. It's almost like Bond goes Eminem style in this, which is such an amazingly entertaining aspect of him. Once again, like, his sexism is a bit of the distraction. I mean, he's still a badass, but it's just this out of nowhere, this out of nowhere dumbass remark about her and how women are basically just like these stupid idiots who can't pull themselves together. I just, it's so dumb, so out of nowhere. It's like he's some sort of spoiled brat at times. But once again, that makes him a lot more human. And interesting enough, even the Baccarat game, I mean, they basically go through the notions of how it works. And I also watched like a YouTube video before I arrived at a chapter where they actually explained the game, just to make sure that I would understand what it's all about. But it's pretty simple. Baccarat is really not that complicated, like the basics. Obviously, strategies will vary greatly. It's like, same with Texas Hold'em poker. Baccarat is basically, you got like your normal deck of cards, and you have two cards, which then combine to a number that you get. The highest that you can get is 9. Everything above that starts to count again at 0. So a 10 would be a 0, and an ace counts as an ace counts as 1. A king counts as 0, queen counts as 0, jack counts as 0, and all the other numbers just have their own value according to what a number says. And that's basically the basic rules. There's a bit more to it, but that's it. And yeah, Fleming keeps the suspense up greatly during these chapters, which is something that is hard to do, I imagine. Like, my kudos to Fleming for getting this right, for keeping a reader's interest in this scene, because by God, you could have fucked this up real easily. Like, imagine if you got like the real nerd way of doing it. Like, people describing Yu-Gi-Oh! Matches or something like that can get really annoying when they're focusing on all the wrong things. But here's like, you get the cards, then you get like some impressions of the players and some small notions or whatever they are doing. Then you get back to the cards for just a tiny amount of time, mind you, not too long. The cards still take a bit of a backseat, and what's more important is the players, and that makes sense. That's the way it's supposed to go, and the game worked just brilliantly in my opinion. You had... okay, it's just a personal thing again. Like, I'm not sure if anybody else actually like cared that much about it. But one of the funniest scenes, which I know why they didn't put that one in the movie because it would look amazingly silly, is Bond trying to free himself after he gets captured by like Le Chiffre's goons, and he has, just gonna clear my bed here because I'm going to do something stupid. That's hopefully going to hurt me. He's tied up, got his hands on his back, and the only thing that he got available are his feet. So basically, it's just one of the... It's such a visual description which I can only describe as, I don't know, slapstick, where it doesn't really belong. It was a slapstick scene that just didn't belong in that chapter, but Fleming wrote it anyway. So he basically tries to kick one of the bodyguards of Le Chiffre, but the bodyguard catches his foot mid-air and then twists it around so that he does a 360-degree side fall thing, sort of like, oh, Mr. I'm James Bond, I got him, I'm gonna free myself. just the visual of him rotating mid-air and landing flat on his face is the least James Bond like thing I could come up with. I know, but I mean, everything around this, it has been very suspenseful, but it's this very scene which kind of robs it of any sort of seriousness. It's just Bond going, whoa, bam, flat on his face. Oh, I'm sorry. Other than that, I thought the romance in the novel was a bit long-winded. Not sure if I'm alone on this, but it just felt, oh god, it just went on forever, and you could see there was something wrong. You could read it. You could read that something was definitely wrong with Vesper, who was getting more and more nervous, and they had a bit of distance between them, which was nicely written, but it kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt like Fleming was given a bit too much, a few too many pages to this whole idea of Bond. And I mean, I know why he did it, why he gave Bond and Vesper an after mission thing where they have a bit of time together to you know, tighten this idea that there's a possibility for their romance to work. So that makes it all the more sad when she actually kills herself, and it gives Bond so much more of an epic and tragic ending to this whole ordeal. But I don't know, it just went on a bit too long. I already got the feeling that these two kind of worked together, and I just couldn't. Vesper's characters feel so over the top weak that I'm not even sure what to make of her, so the romance was kind of whatever to me. Bond needs someone who's a lot less agreeable upon, someone whom he has actually some playable chemistry, which in the movie came across a lot better, but that's probably because of changing times and something. I mean, this is a very classical agent novel. It's not, it got like certain aspects of the noir genre which come across a lot more clearly, as opposed to, like, you know, this super agent thing which Bond went for in the movies, at least, like starting with Goldfinger, I guess. And it was exciting as all hell. It was really nice to read through. It was silly at times, but that's mostly because the book is a bit older, and Fleming's sensitivities Varied, let's just say varied. I'm not gonna be an asshole and completely... just... It's a bit weird. Oh yeah, and the briefing at the start of the book was also a bit lengthy. I know what they were going for, but at the same time I just like... Mate, come on! Shorten it a bit, I will get the gist, and yeah, but after that I just went right into it. Felix Leiter, who I already know his fate of what is going to happen to him in Live and Let Die. I'm not going to spoil it right now, I'm going to spoil it once I'm done completely reading Live and Let Die. Is introduced in this book as well. And for God's sake, like, the biggest problem is, to me, Felix Leiter has always been a black dude, so it was basically like, okay, he's now blonde and white. Okay, goddamn it, I can't concentrate, because, like, specifically in Casino Royale, he's black, and once again, it's the same problem with the Daniel Craig thing, is sort of like, Bond, and it's technically speaking to be black-haired and look a bit different, more like Humphrey Bogart. Oh, I can't imagine that, for God's sake. The movie has given me too many visual cues on which I react to the description. It's not like whenever I read a Dan Brown book, even when I read, like, before I had seen any Dan Brown movies, like the movies to his books, I had written the book, and he's immensely good at describing characters, so much so that I always got the right impression for what he's describing. Fleming doesn't have that much power. He has enough power, and if I hadn't had some sort of movie as a representation of it, I would have gotten a certain idea of what Bond looked like according to him. I looked up some illustrations on the internet, but I'm sorry, there's just too much of the movie which I have in my mind, which can't be replaced. So Felix Leiter stayed black in my mind, and he stayed, and Bond stayed blonde as well. So yeah, it's kind of hard to go through. Leiter wasn't really that important, but, you know, besides his normal role of just being like, "Oi mate, I'm going to save you at the last second, here you go, money." That was nice, and he gets a bigger role in Live and Let Die. Yeah, it was a very stationary adventure. Bond doesn't change locations, like, not heavily. He stays in the approximate radius of this casino and all its surroundings. A biggest change? No, actually, he's pretty much already there. Yeah, no. Which is also like a big difference to Live and Let Die. Once I'm finished with that one, I got like 50 pages left, and then I'm gonna be done. And yeah, it feels so much more grounded. It's like a very classic noir agent novel. And yeah, one feels like this could be something one could actually experience happening in real life, as opposed to lots of stuff from the movies, which is always, or at least from it starting at a certain point. Actually, even starting with Dr. No was always a bit over the top. And yeah, no, I believe that might be it. Anything else? Oh my god, I totally forgot about that. Bond is drinking, and he doesn't stop drinking, and everything he orders is an alcoholic beverage. Oh my god, I can only imagine just what his actual mission would have been like if he was, like, realistically drunk. Like, imagine sort of like, oi waiter, another vodka on ice. But mister, you already had, like, I don't know, 5 today. Yeah, I know, and I'm on my 5th pack of cigarettes. I got throat cancer up the ass, so I gotta numb the pain with this vodka. Fuck you. Oh, that's the chiefra. Oh shit. Oh god, oh son. Here we go. Oh, sorry mate. God damn it, no, that was the Metro D I just shot. Shit, where the fuck is the Chivra? It's Chivra! On Bond, goddammit! Oh my god, that was so good. I haven't drank anything else. Oh! Bond, James Bond. I just... Let's be your bitch! Where you at? Okay, that was all I wanted to I just needed to do a drunk Bond impression because like he drinks way too fucking much on that book. I get it. It's his status. It got something to do with the times, but yeah. Casino Royale is a nice, entertaining, thrilling book, which made me laugh way more than it should have. But that's just because I can make a mockery out of everything if I want to. And yeah, I'm currently reading Live and Let Die. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to give you a little review of that one too. Hope you don't take this video too serious. Because, yeah, I know I can be kind of a cunt about things like this, but I really, really like this book. And I really recommend it to anybody who wants to take a look at what Bond was before he got made into a movie. And you know, once again, it's entertaining, it's thrilling. It's gonna keep you reading. It's a page turner the best way. Plus, it's not even a big book. It's like, what's 200 something pages? 230 pages. That's basically nothing. That's basically nothing. If you read Harry Potter, like all the Harry Potter books, then you have been through bigger books by a lot. And this is actually a perfect kind of size for a first book to have. Like just a few hundred pages, 200 something pages is like a brilliant size to just go through. And the only thing that could turn off a few people, perhaps, it was no turn off for me, is like the casual sexism of it all. But other than that, thank God, it's not even that big a deal, really. Just go through it. It's Casino Royale by Ian Fleming. Give it a try. I would say you won't regret it. I can't promise it, but yeah, that's basically all I have to say. And just like that, drunk James Bond out. Na 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 na.